Wonderful. Daniela, the floor is yours. We're so happy to have you here.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm super excited to be here. So what we're going to be talking about today is how to up your entrepreneurial resilience in order to just up-level your business, up-level your life, and up-level everything there is about what's going on. When I was preparing this, I realized that there is just so much to say on this topic. There's no way we can cram it all into 20 minutes. So I decided that the very best thing I could do was to talk a little bit at a very high chunk level about resilience and how we can elevate resilience in our business, and very specifically give you a takeaway, a very specific tool that you can utilize every single day, as many times a day as you need to, in order to reframe your thinking. Because that really is what's at the core of resilience to me. It's the ability to reframe the story that I'm telling myself, to reframe my experience of an experience. And there's a tool that I use pretty much every day that helps me do that. And I'm going to share that tool with you today. So put up your hand if you sometimes struggle to manage all the moving parts of your business. Yeah, right. Me too. And put up your hand if you've ever felt burnt out, overwhelmed, or maybe even tempted to quit. Give it up. Forget it. And put up your hand if you're curious to know how ritual and ceremony can change all that for you. Yeah, me too. So why is resilience such a big deal to me? And why did I choose resilience as my niche in coaching? Well, pretty much back in 2019, I ended a 27-year marriage. And I ended that marriage with the words, "I love you, go be happy." Because we're not, and we both deserve better. Yes? So for me, 2019 was about closing chapters and reinventing my life, reinventing my experience of family, and reinventing how I was showing up in my business. And I got an awful lot of work done, did a whole lot of reframing my own thinking around a whole lot of things, and was ready to launch at the beginning of 2020. And lo and behold, what planet am I on, right? Like, it was crazy once all of the pandemic responses started showing up in our world. And so, like everyone here, resilience became the word of the day. It was like, how do I pivot? And if that pivot doesn't work, how do I pivot again? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we've had these 2 years of constantly needing to adapt to the changing circumstances we find ourselves in. And it's become the new normal, hence resilience. So what is your resilience quotient? Well, let's talk about what resilience is. It's the ability to adapt and to recover quickly. And the American Heritage Dictionary uses the word buoyancy, and I love that because there's such a lightness to it. Yes, resilience is the ability to bring ourselves back to a buoyant, light state. And I absolutely adore that particular definition. So when we're facing setbacks and problems, the very first reframe is, how do we identify those things? Are they setbacks and problems, or are they actually challenges and even better opportunities? When we think of the setbacks or the challenges or the opportunities that show up in our world, we can choose to view them as catalysts that magically, alchemically create space for us to move ourselves forward and become even more than we imagined we could be. So let me give you an example. Mundane, super mundane thing like brushing our teeth, right? That little daily habit, that little daily routine is for many, many people really steeped in a whole lot of guilt and shame. Why? Because we go to the dentist and we've got the dentist reminding us to brush our teeth. We've got the hygienist reminding us to brush our teeth. at least 3 times a day, certainly morning and night after every meal is better. And oh yeah, don't forget about flossing. And how many of us actually do? Okay, gonna be real. I do not do that every single day. I do not floss religiously. So there's a whole lot of guilt and shame attached to it. Yes? Okay, so what if we can reframe that experience for ourselves? What if oral hygiene becomes an act of self-love? What if we take the time to really do some mirror work while we're taking care of our oral hygiene? What if while we're looking after that, we're also looking into our own eyes and we are telling ourselves how much we love who we are and who we're becoming, and how much we appreciate that this small act of taking care of the health of our mouth is actually supporting the overall health of our entire being. And what if, while we're brushing our teeth, we stare into the mirror and we pray Ho'oponopono for ourselves? I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. We can bring ritual and we can bring ceremony into something as mundane as brushing our teeth to elevate how we show up for ourselves in the world and in our businesses and in our lives, in our relationships. So the idea of turning routine into something that is ritual, that brings reverence into everyday experience, is something I get really excited about. And I hope you will too. So why do I look at it this way? Well, for me, it's a reminder to reconnect with my inherent divinity. I believe that every single one of us is God's spark. And because I believe that, I find that it's important to be able to build into my day-to-day the reminders that will help me to not fall into the distractions that would say otherwise, because life keeps lifing. And it's easy to get caught up in the emotions and the overwhelm when something's going sideways. But we don't have to. We can remember that we are inherently divine. We can remember that we create the reality that we're experiencing. And we can just reinforce the power that we have by staying focused on it. And I also want to say that being radical and realistic in all of this, radical in the sense that when we chunk up, let's be really, really radical about what we're willing to believe is possible, and realistic in the sense of in our day-to-day, in mapping out what I'm going to get done in any one day. Let's not put ourselves into overwhelm. Let's keep it real. So the tool that I want to share with you today, it's something called clearing denial. And it's an energetic tool that really just aligns our chakra system and takes care of any energy blocks that are existing. It's a way of allowing ourselves to access information, more information, unconscious information, and get the conscious stories out of the way, the ones that would be the distraction that keep us from our own inner truth. So how are we doing for time? Yeah, we're good? Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So clearing denial looks like this. And Nancy, I know you've just done this with me on the weekend, right? Pretty great experience, yes? Yeah. So clearing denial, you're going to start by taking 2 fingers on each hand, right? And I want you to find your collarbone. And then go down to the soft spot just below your collarbone. You'll notice when you're there. And just little circles with your fingers. Okay. And you're going to keep your eyes open and you're going to breathe in and out 3 times. Ideally, you're breathing through your nose right into your diaphragm. And this is the first layer. This layer says, I know my truth. I know what's troubling me. And once you've done your 3 breaths, take the 2 fingers on your right hand and find your mastoid bone behind your ear. Run the fingers all the way down your mastoid bone to the little soft spot just behind the base of the mastoid. And the other 2 fingers on your left hand, just lay them gently on your belly button. And breathing in and out again 3 times through your nose, eyes wide open. Miss Lair says, I can speak about what is troubling me. I'm willing to communicate my truth. You may notice as you do this, the energy starts to shift. You may even find yourself yawning. That's good. Any physical response is just your body shifting energy. There you go. And after the 3rd breath, we switch. So with the 2 fingers on your left hand, following the mastoid bone all the way down to the bottom, to that little soft spot in behind. Right hand fingers on your belly button. Breathing in again, in and out again 3 times. Through the nose, right into the diaphragm, eyes wide open. This layer is, I can hear my truth. I'm willing to communicate my truth. Now you're going to take your left thumb. This is always a bit of yoga. Left thumb on your 3rd eye, 4 fingers reaching back over the crown of your head, as far back as you can. The other hand fingers just stay on the belly button, and breathing in and out 3 times, eyes wide open. I can feel my truth. I'm willing to feel my truth. As you're going through this, just notice the sensations in your body. And switching so that your right thumb is on your 3rd eye, fingers reaching back, left hand, index and middle finger on your belly button. Breathing in and out 3 times, eyes open. I can see my truth. I am willing to see my truth. And when you're done that, 2 fingers of your right hand on the crown of your head, right in the midpoint of that imaginary line that runs across the top of your head from ear to ear. Left hand fingers stay where they are on your belly button, breathing in and out 3 times, eyes open, noticing the sensations in your body. And switch. Now, hand open palm on your heart, breathing in and out 3 times. This is, I can feel my life purpose. I'm willing to feel my life purpose. And when you're done, take your left hand and you can either place it on your throat or just 2 or 3 inches away from your throat, whatever's comfortable. Continuing to breathe in and out through the nose, eyes open. I can speak my life purpose. I'm willing to speak my life purpose. And last one, 2 fingers of your left hand on your third eye. I can see my life purpose. I am willing to see my life purpose. Good. So I'm curious, how does everyone feel after going through that exercise? Just unmute yourself and share.
Calm, relaxed.
Yeah,
Yeah, peaceful.
beautiful. Patrice,
Relaxed.
beautiful. Nikki,
Peaceful.
beautiful. Yeah. That simple exercise, being able to shed all of the noise and calm down, allows us to connect with our heart, with our inner truth. And at any point in the day, if you're finding that you're stressed or you're challenged or you're not able to think clearly anymore, you now have a new tool that you can pull out of your toolbox that you can use as an exercise in ritual and ceremony to be able to reconnect to your own inner truth and find your way through and forward, whatever's facing you. And this is just one example of how we can use ritual and ceremony in our day-to-day to keep ourselves grounded and centered and focused and relaxed and calm. And who can't use more relaxed and calm these days, huh? Yeah. So this is the kind of thing that I start my day with this. I do it every morning, and then I will repeat it through the day as I need it. Other examples of ritual and ceremony, schedule. Oh, we're done?
No, I have a question.
Oh yeah, please.
There's a lot of parts to that, and I want to be able to do it. Is that something you would put together in a little handout for us?
I have a handout. I will share. I'll
Okay.
post it. Where's the best place to share that?
We can put it in the community.
Perfect. And I will also do a video. I promised a video to the people that I gathered with on Sunday, so I will share that
You
here.
want to do
as
it
well.
anyway. So thank you.
Yeah.
That's because I'm like, I will not remember all of that. And I would love to be able to
No,
do it.
it's good. It's a lot of steps, but yeah, I'll definitely make sure the tools and resources are available so that you can guide yourself through it and make it part of your daily practice.
Thank you.
How are we doing for time?
We're good. We're at 1:30. So if you've got a little bit more time if you want to share, and then we
Okay.
can do sort of 15 minutes in our small groups,
Yeah.
and then still have
So-
time to wrap up at the end.
Sounds good. So when it comes to ritual, scheduling the time for self-care, right? Scheduling the time, ritualizing it, block it off in your day and hold it sacred. Many of us will tell ourselves that we're too busy. There's too much to do. There are too many demands on our time and attention. And it's that old adage, you know, if you think you don't have 10 minutes a day to meditate for an hour. The ability to disconnect from the noise by doing things that are ritualistic, that are, and I like the word ritual because it's not just a matter of routine. It's not just about, you know, building atomic habits. It's about recognizing our own divinity and tapping into that. And that can look like clearing denial on a daily basis. Absolutely. It's just a few minutes and the impact is huge. It also looks like things like nature walks, forest bathing, salt baths, essential oil massages, hot stone massages, meditating, dancing, singing, whatever it is that makes you literally feel your eyes sparkle and your heart open. Those are the things that you want to focus on in your practice and ritual so that you can not just show up as ever more of who you are in your life and in your business, but love every minute of it while you're doing that, right? I'm wondering, kind of got through that a lot faster than I thought I would.
Good, I love it. There's, I think it's a great opportunity for us to go into the discussions, and then we can, when we come back out, I bet people have questions, and I know you have to. Thank you for coming. Yeah, I'd love to. And then when we come back out, maybe people have got some questions about specific rituals, or you may have some more to share at that point. Does that make sense?
Sounds great.
Awesome.
So as you go back into the breakout room, I want you to think about whatever you were talking about earlier. That's that situation where something went sideways. I want you to go back and think about that again from this place of calm that you're in now, having cleared denial. And I want you to think about what information, right? What can you access now? What are you aware of now that you maybe weren't aware of before, that would have you respond to whatever it was a little bit differently?
It's always intimidating when it says that, eh? The way she says that is so like
process. Oh,
I was looking for the got it button again, but that doesn't show up the second time. So how was that for everyone?
Good.
Really nice.
I would love to hear what you learned. What are some insights that came out of that?
I didn't know necessarily. I'll go about insights. Like, I think if you would ask me this question, if we were doing this like 10, 12 years ago, I would have a different response because, right, looking at particularly the last 10 years of my life. But I said to my colleagues, like, I have absolutely no desire to be calm my whole life. I've like that doesn't make sense to me anymore. I will say though, when I first started NLP training, I thought that was the goal, not to actually like always be measured and, you know, calm or whatever. And then I just decided for me that was bullshit. And I'm happy to, like, I think it's okay, right? I think it's okay to have reactions, just not to live in the reaction.
Yes.
Let that air out because it's energy, like pop it, get the prefrontal cortex back online, and then figure out what you need to do, right?
Absolutely.
From that place of a regulated nervous system.
Yes.
Right, from that.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree with you more because like who wants to live a monotone life?
Yeah,
right?
like
no, we want the richness and the fullness of all of it because we're
Yeah.
not going to fully experience the joys if we haven't allowed ourselves to experience the sorrows, right?
Yeah.
We need the polarity. It's what makes life so freaking amazing. And when the rubber meets the road, when the stuff hits the fan, and we can't think our way through to any kind of solution, that's a beautiful time to bring a tool like clearing denial forward and use that to just regulate our nervous system and bring us back to a place of grounded and centered. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I completely agree with you, man. Bring it on, bring all of it on. That is the richness of the tapestry of life. Totally. Who else would like to share? Rebecca.
Hey, to Karen's point, I totally agree. And that's where this, having a really great ritual to keep that, to pull you back into that to have that resiliency to pull you back sooner is so amazing. I read somewhere and I'm trying to remember where, I think it might be from Ziva meditation, that if you are willing to fully feel an emotion, maybe I learned this from you guys. Did I learn this at Triad? I don't know where I learned this. If you're willing to fully feel it, is this your thing? To fully feel it, it only lasts, I think, 90 seconds or something, and then it passes. Whereas if you deny it, it can last you 10 years.
Yeah.
So if we have the skills to be able to be willing to fall into that emotion 110%, knowing that we have the resiliency to be able to pull ourselves back, you're going to get through stuff so much quicker. I love that. And what you gave us was an awesome tool to be able to pull back from that.
Beautiful. Thank you. Nancy.
This was a great follow-up and refresher of what we did on the weekend. I really want to give you a shout out because what we did on the weekend was this technique, and I was involved, and I won't give you the whole background story, but I'll keep it short. My son and I don't see eye to eye on this global thing that's happening, and that was really affecting me. And I hadn't had a release. I hadn't cried about it. I was in denial in the way that I'm like, I want us to be eye to eye, and it's just not happening. And the release technique, where I actually had that session, we did some tapping too to help me through the emotional piece of it. And then the denial, I actually felt literally like tingling sensation around my neck. And I always felt like I've had a blocked chakra in my neck throat for a long time. And it's layer and layers are coming out. And that denial of me not like knowing that, yes, my truth is my truth. Other people might have different truths and they're seeing the reality the way they are, but I was denying my truth. And so therefore, affecting my perception of my relationship with my son. And I just want to I love him no matter what, but we're still, anyways, we had a really good family day, and he came for dinner when the subject never came up because we're choosing not to talk about it right now. And at some point I would like to talk to him, but just from the love and compassion side of it, and just like let him hear my perspective, but without changing his. So I'm okay, so thank you. It really helped me on the weekend. And today's session just reconfirmed, the importance of doing this as a ritual. The layers do come up. Like it's not all go at once, maybe, So thank you.
That was so beautiful to witness on the weekend. And if I can elaborate with your permission, without getting into any details, obviously. Nancy actually messaged me right before we got started on the weekend. It wasn't a planned thing. It was literally on Saturday. It was, anybody who needs support right now, who's really feeling what's going on, I'm going to host a thing tomorrow. Let's just all jump on and support one another and hold space. And right beforehand, Nancy messaged me, and, there was a story around, stuff's going on in my world right now. And is this going to be a problem? Can I join you? Can I not join you? What's the deal? And I just responded with, let's just, I'll leave it up to you, if you decide that it's not working, then, you can leave the Zoom, but join us. And then Nancy ended up having this absolutely beautiful experience that was incredibly healing. So it was a joy to be able to witness that. Thank you.
Yeah, it was almost like my obstacles were not allowing me to participate unconsciously, but then I'm like, I allowed it to happen, and my obstacles went away. It was dog babysitting was the obstacle, but it didn't allow it to happen. It didn't allow me to stop showing up. And I'm so grateful I was there for that. I really needed that clearing on that day, especially.
And that's the beauty of clearing denial. Denial standing for didn't even know I am lying. And lying not in the sense of, consciously, deliberately deceiving myself, but lying in the sense of I'm not aware of an underlying truth. There's an underlying truth that I need to connect with that I'm not aware of right now. So clearing all the noise out of the way allows that information to rise up. Yeah. Karen.
Yeah, I just want to add the part of emotions with that. We think that our thoughts, I believe, are independent from emotions. And in fact, I think that that's probably the biggest part of our thinking. So if there's a block, we can recognize oh, I have a limiting belief that I can't do this thing. right? Like that I'm not capable, that I'm not whatever. It's like, so how do you feel about that? Because it's often, I believe, and what so far my experience is showing is that that's the unaddressed, those core beliefs about not being lovable, not being this, not being that, and just how hurt that is. And we don't address the hurt. We just might say, fuck you, I don't care, or whatever. And, but once the nervous system, I think, gets some relief from the energy is moving, then our prefrontal cortex comes back online and we can think more clearly. Because like, I kind of believe if we could think our way out of problems, then the world would not be in the state that it is. This is not a thinking game. Like, it is not. But we've been taught to believe that, though. We've been taught to believe that it's a thinking game, that living is a thinking game. That's nah.
Karen.
Yeah, this is such a great conversation. One of the things that really struck me from what you taught us, Daniela, like not only the experience, which was amazing, but I love the differentiation between routine and ritual. And as you were talking, I thought, yeah, toothbrushing is a great example. It's this very mundane thing. And I was saying in our group, the difference between like taking the dogs out for a pee and taking the dogs out and taking a breath and enjoying the woods and paying attention to where the moon is, or, and just even that it's the same amount of time, but am I thinking about getting back to my desk or making dinner or doing this, or am I just being in the moment and really being present? And when we can weave it into something we do all the time, then it becomes these little bits of beauty through the day and through the week that, and so I remind myself, oh yeah, like, let's actually just let's moment here.
Yeah. And which makes me think of what we were talking about on Sunday, which is Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, right? Looking for the meaning in this moment. Yeah. And ritual isn't something that, we put on a shelf and we take it down when it fits. Ritual is our whole experience. Like, we can bring ritual into everything. And make it sacred and holy and beautiful.
I'm curious because I love your pictures when you take your dogs out in the morning, like on the water. So I'm wondering for you, what you just said, do you find when you reflect back now, do you take pictures because you're in the moment? So that's how I know that you're in the moment, is because you take a picture and you post it, versus the mornings that you don't post, that maybe it's routine, get the dogs out and then get back.
And yes, often. And every once in a while, it's just that the sunrise isn't very cool, but most of the time, yeah, like that's often the difference. And I don't always bring my camera, because sometimes the camera takes away from the moment. But yes, it's when I post a picture, I've really been present fully. And yeah, if you follow me on social media, you'll see I probably put up 7 or 10 sunrises every month, because they're just so amazing where I am. But yeah,
so beautiful.
It's the difference. I love that.
Just a few weeks,
Daniela,
maybe 2 months ago, I want to say about being in the moment, just one thing of how important that is, because I probably don't do that often enough. I did training with Don Miguel Ruiz and his 2 sons. And his one son talked about doing a road trip, and then they would stop on the side of the road to look at the view. And so the people were like talking about, oh, I'm going to post this picture. I'm going to look at how beautiful that is. And then he travels with his dogs. He said, then I look at my companion, my 4-legged companion, and they're just sitting there observing. So Karen, be more like the dog.
Karen, I'm sorry to break in. I just want to respect everyone's time, because we said we were going to be done at 1 and we've got like 30 seconds left. So I'm going to go around the room and ask everyone for their one word for the experience today. And if you want to stick around afterwards, and Karen, I'd love to hear the rest of that story. So please do stick around and share it with me if you can. So let's start with Patrice and then Nikki.
Potential.
Beautiful. And Nikki and then Nancy.
Did you get it? Calm.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Calm.
I love that. Nancy and then Rebecca.
Transformational.
Beautiful.
Clear.
Rebecca and then Karen Hicks.
Clear.
Beautiful. Karen H and then Karen Casey.
Just like nice.
Yeah, and for me, it's just gentle. Like this is really a reminder of gentle. Thank you so much, Daniela, for coming and being our wonderful guest expert today. This is a beautiful thing to have you in our world, and we really appreciate you coming and sharing your magic with us.
Thank you. My word is grateful, and as ever, I am grateful to be here and grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you.